Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. That was weird. All right. Hey, what's up, Giants fan? Welcome to the – we have a special guest already on. Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast. I guess Zoom updated their little voice pad. They're saying you're now recording now. I never heard that before. I thought some stranger was in my fucking room.
Maybe there is.
Yeah, maybe there is somebody hiding around.
Check it.
I'm fucking scared now. But welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast, where everything's just so great around here. I'm Mike Trainer. You know where you can follow me. Jules is here again this week, as always. And then we have to welcome back John Depot, who took a little hiatus last week. John, where were you last week?
Oh, man. Thanks for welcoming me back. I was in Ocean City, Maryland.
Nice.
For my girl's birthday for a few nights. Never been before. I don't know if you guys have been there.
I've been there.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool spot. It's a nice little beach town. They had this what's that?
You go to Secrets?
We did go to Secrets. There was a band playing there, which was pretty cool.
I love Jules. You never been to Secrets down in fucking? Oh my god, dude! You probably. I don't know if you would make it a full day there. If you start drinking in the afternoon, there's no fucking way you're lasting till 7 o'clock at night. No way.
I'll make it till it gets dark out, like about 8:39ish, and then it's like just fucking wrap me up and just put me on a couch somewhere and let me fucking sleep for a few hours.
Bro, Jules is gonna be buried up to his neck like Joey Tribbiani in the Friends intro, just like a mermaid.
John, where were you staying in Secrets? I know as soon as you walk into Secrets, you got like the live band on the inside, like the tent. Then you go all the way to the back. It's like the bay where you're half in the bay. You could go on like the tubes. It's actually a pretty cool spot.
So we actually went at night. So the beach part where all like the tables were and shit, we saw it, but there was all closed off. There was the live band, so watched the band for a little bit. We stayed in an Airbnb though, which is pretty cool. I recommend doing Airbnbs or hotels for anybody who's looking to travel. It's way more fun to do it that way. And but it was cool, man. There's some really good fucking restaurants down there. I was expecting to go there and be like, just a little seafood or whatever. But I was as a Italian, I was fucking impressed. I gotta tell you.
All right. That's good.
I had the best vodka sauce, might be the best vodka sauce in my entire life there. We did like this mozzarella and Carosa. It's just perfectly cooked, mozzarella and Carosa, just drowning, and probably the best vodka sauce I've ever had in my life.
Shit. All right.
Yeah.
Listen,
aside from that, we had other food.
I gotta hit you up with some recommendations on places to go for sure.
Yeah, they had this old school car show going on down there, which was awesome. They like all muscle cars and shit. There must have been 2,000-3,000 cars going up and down Ocean Highway over there. All like 69 Camaros, old Shelby Cobra, like Corvettes from like the 50s, like original shits. It was pretty cool. I will say that.
You gotta hit up, like, if you have a Jeep, like I got a Jeep. They have like the Jeep invasions going around down like Seaside and Wildwood, like every summer. That's what all it is, man. All the Jeeps go on the beach. You see everybody driving down the turnpike with them. All zooped up, like it's a really, really cool like event they do with that.
The next question I have for you, John, is going to kind of lead us into like one of our first like sort of topics of the evening. But
sure,
what was the mask situation like when you were down there in Ocean City?
Oh, dude, I was quarter chubbed, bro. I gotta tell you. You walk, yeah. Look at that face, fucking bro. You walk. The first place we went to get dinner. Because we got there like 4:30, 5 o'clock, so we hung out for a second, unpacked, and went to dinner. First place to go to was like Fager's Island or something like that. And you walk in, and right there's like a podium outside for a host stand. And there's a big laminated sign that says, "This is a mask-free zone. Enter at your own risk." It was glorious. Nice. I gotta tell you. The whole restaurant, fully open. People, it looked like it was like real life. It was back to real life. There was a couple places that required masks still, but it was loose at best.
Wow, dude, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like now, like my gym took the mask restrictions away. Like New York, pretty much, dude. It's so weird being at the gym and just being able to like actually breathe. and like actually smile like at people. Like I'm like smiling at girls, you know, like when you walk past you, them nice smile. Like people can finally see that. I mean, I might not get a lot of smiles back sometimes, but hey, listen, like I'm back, man. I feel like you know, I feel naked sometimes without it. It feels fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
So Mike, that's a fact. Right now, you currently can go into a gym in Westchester County and not have to wear a mask.
It's fucking awesome, man. It's fucking
Wow.
awesome.
Dude, like, because over here in Brooklyn, it's still like you still got to wear a mask. I mean, it's lightened up. You know, they don't necessarily have to, because I was having to make appointments to go. You know, it was a big to do. And like, if you didn't make these appointments like a day or two out, you couldn't get a spot at the gym. It was crazy. And then last week, it was just like, I don't know, it's like someone waved a magic wand and was like, woof, okay, no more appointments. Shit is starting. Not like this whole thing is. I don't know. It's weird. Like I was doing a little traveling over the weekend, all up and down the state of New York. And it was like the further north you went, it seemed like the mask thing got like more and more and more and more laxed. Where it's just sort of like, do I put one on? Do I not put one on? I'm just going to wear it anyway because I was so used to doing it for so long. And then it kind of like, as you got a little closer to the city, and especially when you were back in New York City, it was like full on masks on. Everybody's wearing that shit, walking around. So I'm like, it's going to be interesting to say the least to see what Memorial Day weekend is going to be like, especially in the city and around.
In Jersey, I think the 28th is the official, you know, fuck the mask day.
You know
so
what that means?
No, what does it mean?
It means the Giants gonna have a full fucking packed stadium.
That's right.
Come preseason in September, yeah, we're gonna be fucking rolling, just like how the Knicks Garden felt like the other day in the first playoff game with the crowd going nuts. It's gonna be insane. I might actually cry if I go to that first game. I might actually fucking cry.
Well, it won't be because the Giants are losing, that's for sure.
You know, but like I said, like it's just been weird. I mean, look, you know, obviously we're talking about the Giants, and that's going to be like come this September, which is at least a few months away. So at the very least, I guess and I hope that, you know, all these health officials got everything correct, and that, you know, we're going to have a nice little summer and sort of trial run between now and then, where we're going to see how everything looks. You know, the Yankee games, the Knicks games, you know, all these different events that are going to unfold between now and then, where, you know, hopefully, like just with the NFL being able to have a successful and complete season, maybe they could be the first and real true successful sport to have, you know, pretty much full capacity the entire year. You know, and look, I don't care. Like, I've gotten so used to wearing these masks. If we got to wear them a little longer, you know, like let's say for another year or something like that, just to be a little more cautious, or inside public gatherings like it was, I don't have a problem with it. You know, I don't think this thing is completely gone as far as COVID's concerned, but there are a lot of people getting vaccinated. I think I read some stat where every eligible, like half the eligible population of New York City has gotten vaccinated, something along those lines. Like it's a lot higher than you think, you know, and look, we're heading in that direction. Hopefully this thing is put behind us and we can kind of all move forward and we can get back to enjoying football the way we always have.
Amen.
You know, but getting into sort of a hot topic that like has really popped up on social media, especially and through Facebook and Twitter, is this whole thing of being a fan, but then being called out as a fake fan because of some of your criticism towards our team, right? Towards the Giants. And the thing here is, and I find myself falling, you know, into this conversation, is that, look, I completely agree that you are allowed to criticize the team, coaches, players. They make mistakes. They're human beings. They're not perfect. Not every pick on the draft is going to work out. Not every free agent signing is going to work out. Not every player rookie is going to like blow into being a Pro Bowl superstar. It just doesn't happen that way. However, with all of that said, there's different ways to be negative. And Mike, you know, I've done it a bunch of times, and I'll talk more about this in a minute, and I'll get more detail in it, but I definitely want to hear your guys' opinion on it. Yeah. Have I been the type like, oh, this guy sucks, whatever, fuck it. But would I waste my time spending hours on social media looking up stats as to why he sucks, pulling up his college shit, being like this? You know, you almost have to sit there and sit back and be like, bro, well, who are you a fan of then on the Giants? If you're going to sit there and criticize your quarterback, you criticize your offensive line, you criticize your coaches and Jason Garrett and everybody else. So it's like, bro, like, how are you even a fan if all you're doing is sitting there and criticizing? And that's where I was trying to make a huge difference in what this was. Guys, give me some feedback on this.
Mike?
I mean, John, I mean, you've seen it. You've seen my tweets. I've seen your tweets. I've seen Jules's tweets. We all seen our tweets. Like, we have to like defend the fucking Giants. I'm like, to our fans, to our fucking fan base. Like,
That's the annoying part.
it's real annoying. It's like these people just, like Jules said, coming out with these crazy stats. Like, yo, can you give this fucking Daniel Jones a little bit of a time? Can you give Garrett a couple more games? You know, can you like, you know, bear with the process? You understand, like, this is a new system, new coaching staff, all that, you know. I mean, I could go on and on about all that fucking nonsense, but the way they come out, it seems like I'm talking against a Cowboys fan. Then I would understand it.
Bro.
But I don't understand this.
You're absolutely right, man. That's what I literally say to these people. It's like, bro, you're just straight copying, pasting exactly what our division rivals would say. Everything that you're saying is what they say. So either you are a fan of them and then just masquerading as a Giants fan, which is the corniest fucking thing you could do. But if that's your thing, enjoy. But the people who think that they're being genuinely good fans by eviscerating every single possible aspect of the team, I don't understand how that considers you a fan. Like, do you understand what the definition of a fan is? You can follow the team. You can follow it negatively. I don't fucking know. You do whatever the fuck you want. You can follow Flat Earth if you like to. That doesn't mean that you're fucking, you know what I mean, anti or pro. It just means that you fucking follow it. It's the same thing with the Giants. If you're going to hate Daniel Jones, if you're going to hate Dave Gettleman, if you're going to hate Evan Ingram, you're going to hate the offensive line. Like, at some point, you have to like something about the team in order to be considered a fan of it. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, it can't just be because you like fucking royal blue. Like, that's not a reason to like the team, unless you're a fucking 6-year-old.
I like Giants.
Yeah, exactly. And werewolves and fucking.
You're a mythical creature that I like, and I like them.
But it's just the fact that they go after us like I'm like, I'm a fan. I'm rooting for the team. I want them to get better. I understand your frustration because the all those years of shitty drafting led us to the position we've been in for fucking the past fucking 6-7 years. I understand that, but you understand, like, the Giants are doing everything they can to fix it. We're going in the right direction. Like, you've seen the improvement, right? Like, and they don't seem to get that. They just seem to like dwell on the negative, like, oh, they, you know, I had this dude coming at me like talking about Daniel Jones today about 11 TDs. I'm like, you understand he was hurt for most of the year. You understand, like, you know, we had no running game. I'm like, you think if Aaron Rodgers was here, he would have had that much better of a fucking season? But I bet your ass, if you put Daniel Jones into Green Bay with a top-notch running game, with a #1 fucking wide receiver, it might be a little bit better for him. You know, do you understand that? They don't seem to like comprehend that kind of shit.
More than even just that, if you ask 32 offensive coordinators in the NFL currently right now, if you said, hey, when you get to the red zone, what would you prefer to do? Would you prefer to be able to pound the ball in and run it? Or would you rather throw the ball into the end zone? 32 out of 32 would say, I want to run it. And then you say, oh, well, why would you want to run it for? They're not as big of plays. It's harder to get bigger plays. The point is, when you get to the red zone, the field shrinks. The field shrinks, closes up passing lanes, makes throws tight into tighter windows, doesn't give the receivers opportunity to get open. So it's harder to throw the ball in the red zone because of the short fields. That has nothing to do with the run game, because that's your fucking guys running, your guys winning the line of scrimmage versus the defending team. Now, what did the Giants get better at halfway through the season? Running the football. Because everybody wants to forget that for the first 8 weeks of a 16-game season, the first 8 games, Daniel Jones was the leading rusher each and every single game of that stretch. So not only was he throwing the ball, he was also leading the team in running. So he literally carried the entire offense, and they were competitive in each one of those games by his fucking self. Saquon was down, Shepard was down for half of those 4 games, and he was the leading rusher. Then the offensive line finally started to gel together. Maybe not so much with the pass blocking as well as the run blocking, but they started to run the ball well. And all of a sudden, everybody started fucking being obsessed with Gallmanite Nation, this, and that. Gallman's in the league for fucking 5 years. Okay, everybody wants to say Saquon's a waste of a pick because he's not going to last. Running backs don't last 4 or 5 years. Well, guess what? Wayne Gallman's 5 years in at this point. So all of a sudden he is this glorious fucking running back. No, what happened was they were opening up holes for the team to run through, and they were able to go get chunk yards and 4, 5, 6 yards at a clip and run the ball into the end zone. That's why Gallman had 6 touchdowns in like 4 fucking games that he was actually a starting running back. Is because we were able to run the ball. So if you've gotten better at your preferred method of getting the ball in, which is unanimous through the entire NFL, wouldn't that affect the offensive the offensive touchdown numbers or passing touchdown numbers? I think it would. I think so.
Yeah, obviously.
Listen, one of the things that has really created a lot of this stir between the whole Giants fan base, if you would, has to do with Daniel Jones. And I kind of want to get into that one a little more detail in a little bit because, listen, we've shared our opinion about him. I know you guys are big in supporting him. That's sort of not where the comparison and what I would want to talk about in regards to him is going to come from. Although
I think I know where you're going with this.
Well, I'll come back to it in a minute because I know you saw some of this shit on Twitter, which was just driving me bananas. But here's the other thing that drives me nuts about when you start going into this. You call a guy a fake fan. Look, if someone called me out as a fake fan, my responses back aren't going to be, well, I'm allowed to have my opinion. It's not going to be, oh, right?
Participation trophy nation.
Well, you know, I'm a season ticket holder fan. That doesn't mean shit, man. I know quite a fucking few people that are Giant season ticket holders that thing has been passed down through their family. And they got kind of stuck with it, inherited it, and said, shit, I can't get rid of it. So guess what? That don't mean a fucking thing, all right? Now, me, if I gotta start defending myself as a fucking fan, I'm gonna start calling out games. I'm gonna start calling out plays. I'm gonna start calling out players I like. I'm gonna start talking about events that happened that made me happy. I'm gonna say that, yo, I went to this game, that game. I talk about it all the time on Tuesday night on this great podcast of ours, okay? Yeah, that's what crazy fans do. So yeah, I'll fly off the fucking handle. I'll criticize coaching. I'll fucking criticize players that are being drafted, but there's ways to do it. You say a good thing, but eventually something's going to make you happy. You're going to take a stance on someone. You're not going to just be negative, negative, negative. And that's what drives me nuts because you'll literally sit there and all of a sudden you'll start seeing these other people chime in. Well, you're allowed to have your opinion. It's okay. It's just an opinion. Why can't he have a negative opinion? He has to like everybody? Well, apparently in this fucking day and age, you got to like everybody because if not, you're in trouble, right? Like if you don't like fucking, oh, I didn't like that mouse that ran across my fucking hallway. Well, let me get the animal rights people involved because you know, the mouse ran across your fucking hallway. All right, now all the fucking animal rights people coming after me. Like it's crazy.
I know you get
you're allowed an opinion, but like give it a break, dude. I'm sorry, man. That shit had me going nuts.
You get hit at all like different directions and unexpectedly too. Like it's pretty wild, man. But I think like to be honest, like I'd never seen this hate even during like the Jerry Reese's years, like on social media. But I think it kind of like a lot of it stems from like, to be honest, like the Odell Beckham trade. I think when Gettleman traded him because he was very extremely popular here, you know, as a player. I mean, I was upset that they kind of traded him too in the beginning, but then I started seeing like what we got, the draft picks, the players. I'm like, all right, you know, we made the right move, obviously. But a lot of people could never get over that, and they call themselves fans, but they root against like any move that's a positive move because they don't want to see this, you know, general manager succeed. I think that has a lot to do with it because it just. I mean, look at Kim Jones. Like, she sweated Odell's dick, you know, left and right.
Sweated, bro.
Like, like I think she was one of the first ones in the locker room after the game just to try to get a peek of that shit. And
she was holding up the towel waiting for him to come inside of it.
You know, it's like, yo, it's wild, like that effect that Odell Beckham had on people. And I mean, even fans, like little fans that don't understand the game, like the kids, like they were crying and shit. He was like, Odell. But listen, flashy guy, great, catches a bunch of touchdowns, but you just can't win you're not going to win the fucking Super Bowl. You're not going to win the playoffs. Obviously, like he went to the playoffs in Green Bay game. Eli Manning was on fire, throwing bullets, darts. And my man was just fucking not prepared. He was dropping it. And it just goes to show you, like, you can't win with players like that, unfortunately. You know, it's too bad. Odell Beckham had, like, all this talent in the world, but he just didn't have it, like, mentally upstairs. And then, you know, he could have been one of the greats if he had it there. But honestly, that's where it all comes down to, like, in this day and age where, like, all these fans, they just want to argue and they don't want to see the Giants succeed. That's what it comes down to.
We have to always remember that there's a portion of humanity that genuinely loves negativity. Like they're the same way that like obviously if you guys listen, you know that I'm pretty optimistic about pretty much everything. I choose to have an optimistic view of things and life in general. You know, the Giants and anything else in life. But you have people who they're allergic to that the same way I'm allergic to fucking negativity. So when your whole life exists where you really don't feel whole and alive unless there's like, you know, the world is burning around you, that's just how they exist. And now that there's social media and there's a beacon for that, where it was behind closed doors, it was just that fucking grumpy guy in the office. Now he sits on Twitter and he says whatever the fuck comes to his mind just because he just loves that negativity, that like just fucking seediness of life.
I don't think they were hugged enough.
What?
I don't think they were hugged enough as kids, right, John? Like,
it might be. Maybe they were hugged a little too much, bro. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man.
I think that might be our new response.
Hug your children. That's the message. Hug your children. You know what I mean? Don't let them grow up to be little bitches.
Yeah.
That might be a new response, though, when we start getting into these debates with these fake fans versus negative fans, or reality of what was really going on. You know, when they start going off on those tangents, John, I think we should all do it, right? Just be like, bro, were you hugged enough as a kid? Do you need a hug right now? Like,
or slap them.
Slap you a virtual one real quick.
That's what I like the slap part and stuff.
Yeah, fucking slap those fucking bitches.
Yeah,
I got no use for it. We have 7 and change billion people in this world, man. We don't really need all of them. We just don't.
No.
You guys don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? Just you don't want to be here. I get it. It's fine. Life is hard. You know, it is what it is. Especially if you live in the Northeast.
You know what those kind of people are? Those are the people that leave early during the Giants game. The negative fucking, they're the people that want to beat the traffic. Like, this game is over. We're only down by fucking 7 with like 2 minutes left. You know what I mean? Those are the people.
We're a half hour, 40 minutes earlier, maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
we don't want.
All kidding aside, though.
Like, what are you doing with that half hour?
There's nothing wrong with being critical of the team. If you're just going to say every single aspect of the team is glorious, then that's being a homer, and that's not real. Any team. You can't look at any roster and be like 53 of 53 plus the coaches and plus everything else is straight diamonds. That's just not realistic.
You're describing me.
When you're exaggerating things you know are inaccurate just to make your point against your own team, that's where it's like you're not a fan. Like, you follow the team, and I'll give you that. You follow the team, and you may follow the team more than most Giants fans, but that does not make you a fan. Understand what the definition of fan is, and then tell me what you do that exemplifies what the word actually means.
They're like Homie the Clowns. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Little assholes. But it is what it is.
So we're at OTAs now, guys.
Oh, we're moving on. We're moving on to
real quick. Before we jump into OTAs, like what I know we want to move on to, the reason why I kind of held back with the quarterback, and that's the real sort of situation that kind of really aroused this whole thing and got everything going crazy.
You're gonna get me started on Daniel Jones, Jules? Jeez.
You knew this? No. But here's the thing, right? A lot of people, myself included, felt that it was a reach when we took him at number 6 overall. We know that, right? And we know, and we've said it, we've debated it. And look, maybe we know that we would have been stuck with maybe a Gardner Minshew, which was mentioned during these rants going back and forth, Gardner Minshew. But anyway, with that said, right, it continued on to a point where it just said, look, could he have been a reach? Yes. Do we know if Daniel Jones is just going to be an average quarterback, a shitty quarterback, or fail in the NFL? Or could he get to the level of maybe like an Eli Manning, right? Where, look, let's face it, fellas, we love him. He's going to the Hall of Fame. But Eli was never the best quarterback in the league. He didn't win the MVP for the NFL.
Not never.
1 year. He was on.
Not just 1 year.
Right.
When it counted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there is nothing telling me today that Daniel Jones can't at least develop into that kind of a player. And this is his year. He's auditioning. We said this and we went all over. But this is the type of level that you're competing, you're arguing with when, now look, guys, you tell me, I already know what I'm going to say to this, but you're going to sit there and tell me that Daniel Jones will reach at number 6 overall and all this kind of stuff. You have a team that traded up to number 3 this year and took Trey Lance, who had thrown 307 career passes in his career, and that's not a reach. That's not, he's more athletic than Daniel Jones. He's got more talent than Daniel Jones, and he threw less interceptions in college. Get the fuck out of my face. And you're going to say that that's not the same kind of reach that the 49ers did.
That's a good point.
It wasn't a reach, though. This is the problem with even the concept of the conversation. So the media told you it was a reach, but since he was drafted, how many different they said the Redskins were interested in him at 15. They said that the Denver Broncos wanted him at pick 10, and that's the reason why they ended up trading down out of the pick after the Giants drafted him.
Miami.
So he was a top 10 pick. Period. Stop.
Yeah.
So okay, so he was good enough to be the 10th pick. That's fine. John Elway decided, he's not a good quarterback, whatchamacallit, but the team is as a whole, the Patriots were also rumored to have an interest in Daniel Jones. Okay, so multiple teams interested in him in the first rounds. Teams are looking to potentially trade up for him, okay? But we should have, waited until pick 17 and risked it? The quarterback, these guys who literally throw up on themselves talking about positional value, but you can't draft a quarterback 2 slots higher than you would have gone anyway. 4 slots higher. Okay, sorry. You would have went 10th at 6, 4 slots. Sorry. Are you fucking kidding me, bro?
Yeah, dude, we have that argument on fucking Twitter and everybody else like all the fucking time. But Jules, I got to correct you with that Eli Manning. In 2011, that dude was on fire, man. He literally carried that team to that second Super Bowl, man. I mean, he threw for close to 5,000 yards. I mean, he was on point every fucking game. Like that dude was a stud that year. Listen, if Daniel Jones could have that year, this coming season, it would shut these fucking people up. I would love that so much.
It just feels pathetic at this point that's what's going to happen.
I would take a week off from work just to go back and look where I have to go against these fucking people that came after me about Daniel Jones, and I would just spend the entire week going after them.
Yeah, just fucking quote tweeting the fuck out of them, showing receipts, bro.
I can't wait.
Showing receipts.
Can't wait to the season. Fucking
blue checks, otherwise, it doesn't matter. I can't wait, man, because the funniest part is the argument against Daniel Jones, other than the pre-draft bias and the post-draft bias, on the field as a professional football player, the only thing that they say is the turnovers. When we already know, if you were paying attention, that after week 7, week 8, once he stopped trying to force the ball and try to make plays on his own because he was carrying the entire team, obviously him and the defense, once he settled in and we developed a little bit more of a run game, he stopped. He had no interceptions for weeks, from week 8 until I think it was week 17 when Ingram let the ball hit off his hands and Dallas caught it in week 17. It was the only other interception he took for half a season. For half a season. I got closer to the mic. Half a season. Not only that,
that's 8 games.
Was 11 fumbles, which, just so you know, your boy Lamar Jackson, he had 11 fumbles. I think Justin Herbert had 9. Kyler Murray had 9 also. There was 3 other quarterbacks that also had 11. So he was right in line with the league as far as it wasn't ridiculous compared to the rest of the league. And if you consider that 2 of them, the toss to Ingram, where he just didn't look the ball into his hands, and then the handoff to Gallman in week 17, where Gallman just closed his hands to her like a legitimate idiot, and you take those 2 off, you're at 9. Now he's he's in the middle third of the league with that. So you're going to tell me that that's the reason he's the middle third of the league as far as turnovers is concerned. So right around league average for the most part is the reason why he's going to suck. But yet every other advanced analytic, every eye test you can see, this kid throws the ball with literally can fit the ball in between the helmet and the top of the fucking face shield. Dead accuracy down the field. NFL next gen stats put it out today. He was the number 1 ranked quarterback in the league on deep ball passes. The number 1 ranked in the league for deep ball passes. All those fucking advanced analytics and all that shit about where he throws the ball, short, medium, left, right, flat, this, and that. He's among the top 5 across the board in all of these different categories.
He was one of the top guys that had the most drops too.
Right, exactly.
Like, I mean,
And
come on, man. Like, you don't put all that.
Guys, against Virginia, when Duke was playing them, he had 0 TDs and 9 interceptions against them in his career, bro. Against fucking Virginia. You'll forget that, all right?
Virginia got that top-notch Z, though.
All right.
so now that it's established that the turnovers are pretty much old news at this point, what's there to say now? What is there to say now? He can make every throw. The kid went to Duke and had one of the highest Wonderlic scores literally in the entire country. That in the last like 10 years, there's like 2 players in the entire NFL who scored higher on that test than he did in the last decade. What is there to talk about with Daniel? And why can't he, who's already showed a lot of promise with all of these weapons, be a successful quarterback? Why is it's make or break? They got 2 first-round picks. You better believe they're going to trade up and get a quarterback unless he throws 30 touchdowns and they get to, bro, go suck a fucking fat fucking cock.
They're wishing for that. That's the problem. They're wishing for that.
Kobe, Jules, you got me fucking started.
Oh, listen, bro, you should have heard me all week on social media, man.
We did.
Look, I at least am realistic to a certain extent where I'm like, look, Daniel Jones is in. This is it. This is his audition, right? He doesn't necessarily have to go to the Super Bowl. He doesn't have to throw 35 touchdown passes. Like, we don't need that. But it just has to be, say 25 in that range, like somewhere around there, maybe between 25 and 30 total. No, all I'm saying is for to show success, right? Throw for like 4,000 yards, have the turnovers limited to, maybe a total of like 15 or 16 or something like that, right? If he falls within that range, that's not a fail. That's not a fail. That's a quarterback that literally has taken the next step and has improved. People got to realize that too. Like, only way that this really falls off and all the shit and criticism that you've been hearing is correct is if he throws for like 3,000 yards, has like fucking 27 turnovers and 10 touchdowns. It's some kind of madness like that with this team around him, right? That would be the only way that this shit you're saying could ever be bad.
Yo, imagine.
There's nothing. He's done nothing to even give any type of reasoning for why that would happen. That's literally just a fantastical possibility. That you could, if you're gonna just say that, then you could say that about any quarterback.
That's true.
That's the point.
Let's I hope he just goes for like 40 TDs next year and like 10 intos and like 0 fumbles, and then it'll just be a fucking fantastic year. But listen, let's take a quick commercial break and we'll get back, right to the OTAs. John will lead us into that. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. John, the OTAs are happening. What's going on with that, man? I haven't really followed much of the OTAs. I think it's just like a bunch of guys in the weight room working out. It's like I could go to the gym and do that. You know what I mean? It's like what do these OTAs mean to you?
So I'm just going to go off of what you just said. It's like going to the gym. But as anybody who's gone to the gym for any amount of time in their life, you can go to the gym by yourself, or if you go to the gym with somebody. If you go with somebody, most often you're going to have a little bit of a better time, which is one thing, but more specifically, you're going to have a better workout. Just the competitiveness of it. You're not going to be anywhere near as tempted to kind of slack for a rep or whatever. Oh, I don't feel like doing another set. Let me just go. That doesn't exist if you're with people. Now, in the case of football, it is the ultimate team game. That cliche is said all the time. The more time these guys spend with each other, the better. There isn't a world where them spending more time together is a bad thing. Right. So they had the whatchamacallit, the OTAs going on this week, and the NFLPA was trying to encourage its players not to show up. Across the league, most teams had a lot of players turn out. The first thing that I saw, we had like 40 players. And then right before we hopped on, I was on Twitter for a second, and I think I saw Jordan Renan said that they have like 75 out of the 90-man roster is there right now. Which, bro, that's a lot. That's a lot of players to be there this week. I think they're there for a few days this week. Then there's a little bit of a break, and then they have like the mandatory mini camp. I think maybe next week or the week after, or something like that. So we're like. We're getting close, guys. We're fucking getting close. Only a few weeks away, several weeks away, and we're there.
Now, listen, you brought up a good point, right? Like, this is something that, you brought up a couple of good points. One of them being that
that's usually the case.
It's better to. Sorry. I had to pause myself there. Like, wait, I don't want to pinpoint this. No, there's a couple of good fucking points there, actually. No, but like, it's so true,
I
right?
had
Like,
multiple.
like working out with someone.
It's like Jules. Sorry, Jules, had to cut you off,
Yeah.
but it's like it's like when you guy like you give the girl multiple orgasms, like that. That's how we feel right now. We'll bring up good points. You know what I'm saying?
That's not real, is it?
No, it's real. It happened before.
No, it's fucking rough.
Telling
Mike's
everybody.
got that real doll. Tells him she had multiple ones all the time.
Yeah, she whispers in my ear like, "No, you did it right again."
No, but it's
Right,
so
sorry,
true.
Jules.
Like, whenever you work out together with someone, there are those days, right? You help push a little bit harder because, look, you could train like a maniac by yourself, but there's a couple of days where you're like, fuck, do I really want to go to the gym? You start kind of lacking and whatever else, and anybody in play. You got that guy there, a couple of guys there, they're going to start pushing you, right? It don't matter. You come in there, you might be a little tired, a little sore from the day before, and all of a sudden it's like, come on, bro, let's get at it. Let's get this. Come on, lift this up. Like, let's keep pushing. And like them dudes are there. And the fact that this isn't mandatory, and you have almost, I didn't do the percentage, but like
80% of the roster.
80%, thank you, of the roster showing up. Look, that's showing something, man. That shows these guys actually give a shit about one another and they like each other, right? Because there's no one saying they have to do this. There's no one saying they have to hang out together. They're doing that shit to build this camaraderie with one another that you can't teach that. You can't make that like something that someone has to do because it doesn't work. But when these guys want to do that and they're showing up and they're working out together and they're doing things ahead of schedule and they're really trying to build like that culture that we have seen being sort of like instilled within this team, that says a lot. And still,
it does say a lot.
It does, man. Like, that's something that, these are like the little things that you sort of read between the lines, right? When you start to see these kind of little things going there, that's what you want to see because there is something building, especially with a young football team like the New York Giants are going into. And that's why, look, there's always growing pains. There's always going to be growing pains. Are there going to be some games this season that we look absolutely like dog shit? Yes. But will there be some games where we look like we can fucking take on the Super Bowl champs? Absolutely. Okay. And it's what happens in between those games that makes the difference of what it is. And by working together like this and building that sort of, knowing that I have this guy got my back and he's really going to be a friend of mine, that shit makes all the difference when you're going between those highs and lows throughout the season. And it's good to see this, man. It really is. It looks like this unit's coming together.
Even during like the OTAs, even like when like Will Hernandez and Matty P were working out together.
I was about to say.
Right? I mean, it matters. It fucking matters.
Dude, not only even that, man. I don't have Instagram and stuff, but I do listen to other Giants podcasts, and you always hear like Bobby and Justin do like those like Giant stories on Talking Giants, and they go through like what the players are doing. Like, every week, players are together. I'm not on Instagram, but Instagram apparently they always stories. Who Will Hernandez is out with Daniel Jones, Jabril Peppers is with Darnay Holmes. Like all these different things. They're like hanging out as friends. It's more than just like they're coworkers. Like they're tight, bro. Then you get into Logan Ryan made it a huge deal, and he keeps talking about it. Every interview he does, he talks about it. How when he came here, he wanted to be somebody who helped build the culture of this team, who taught players how to be players, recruited good football players who had that mindset, not the Odell types, the guys who want to put their nose down, not become celebrities, but become professional football players with legacies. Got those guys in here. And this offseason, bro, he's probably the reason why Adoree Jackson is on this football team. He's probably the reason why we might have the single best secondary in the entire NFL. Right? So he organizes a thing. I forget where it was now, but where it was like 10 of the Giants members of the secondary were together for a few days working out together, kind of getting communication down and stuff like that. Bro, it's so big to do that. When you have a team that's not trying to figure out ways to get out of going to work, but of trying to create more time for themselves to fly across the country and just Airbnb it, literally what they said, just literally Airbnb it, where they're all hanging out there at night playing video games, going out, this and that, and then training together. Then Daniel Jones puts together fucking the clinic where he's got all the basically every skill position player on the Giants rosters all together. Like that shit's so big, bro. It's so fucking big.
Let me ask you a question. You think Bobby Hart and Eric Flowers were organizing this kind of shit?
Bro, Eric Flowers is telling him that he fucking had a fucking diarrhea and he couldn't go.
You know what I'm saying?
He's calling out sick.
My man was shitting his pants. It's like, I can't fucking make it.
Bro,
Like,
Taco Bell, man. Thursday this week.
you know, like it's a difference when people were making fun of people, because that's another thing that Giants Twitter were going after, like, oh, culture, you're bringing up culture. I'm like, yeah, because culture fucking matters. You're not gonna win in the room with a bunch of dickheads. You know, it's just not gonna happen. You got to have that team camaraderie. You know, that's it.
Bro, like how we go back to the goldfish thing from back when we were doing the other podcast. The Patriots weren't in the Super Bowl last year, right? Patriots weren't in the Super Bowl year before that. So the last 2 Super Bowls, the Patriots weren't in. If my memory serves me correctly, right?
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay. So all of a sudden, in the matter of like 700 or 800 days or so, whatever it's been, since the Patriots in the last Super Bowl, the 20 years before that, they were in the Super Bowl literally every other year. They had the greatest dynasty known to football history, okay? Over 20 years it lapsed. Hundreds of players. One coach, one quarterback. Only constants through the entire thing. And they were both about culture, both about team. Tom Brady, one of the most famous things about him is the fact that he takes less money. Obviously, he can, but takes less money. That way the team can be built around him. Culture. We just watched 20 years. Everybody hates the Patriots. Who other than Patriots fans, who likes watching the Patriots? Fucking nobody. And why? Because they had a good coach that instilled a culture of no fucking bullshit.
No bullshit. Yep.
No bullshit, and fucking went and dominated the league. Except for the Giants, but dominated the league, the other 30 teams. But we don't want that in fucking East Rutherford. Gettleman was wrong. He was a clown for wanting culture. He started getting the culture guys in, brought Judge in. It worked. Got more culture guys in, and now everybody's all about this team. And at least in New York, about oh, I love the culture. I love Logan Ryan. I love this. I love that. Okay, where did that start? The guy you were clowning 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yep. Everybody wants to come here and play.
Yeah, but Daniel Jones sucks, and he'll never be more than an average quarterback, and the offensive line needs work. So we're gonna suck, and that's it. That's all that matters.
Hey, come on. That's BS, man. That's BS. It's gotta start somewhere.
From those assholes, and that's what kind of stirs it up. That's why when we're on this podcast, we try to bring out everything. We talk about culture. We talk about guys coming together, working out. That's what it's all about. That's the kind of talk. Look, you could turn around and say, look, I can't for the life of me see how the fucking Daniel Jones is going to be a great quarterback. But if you're backing it up by saying, look, but at the very least, I see this dude going out. He's fucking putting on muscle. He's getting his fucking wide receivers together. He's working out on fucking times where he doesn't have to. He's trying to build a culture. I see guys hanging out with the dude. He's wearing the C on his fucking shoulder. Like, bro, there's a lot of things that his teammates are saying that we can't fucking say as people that aren't on that team. So that's where this whole fake fan fucking all that other negative comment bullshit comes into play. And that's what it really stands for. So anyone who wants to come at me, you know where to find me. It's Jules NYC1, all right? And come at me with something I can, like, with some logical shit. Don't give me, it's just an opinion. It's just this, it's just that. But, you know, I just had to say that one more time, because when we talk about the OTAs, it really brings up that whole conversation again.
Or come out with us at the BBO NYG podcast. You can come out all three of us at once if you want to get triple team, if you're into it.
Don't you got to pay extra for that?
You got to pay extra for that shit. You got to send us fucking PayPal money.
Yo, mate, so, you want to take a quick break, and then we'll get on to our next topic?
Julio?
I did want to ask you guys a question.
Okay.
Let's do the question before the break.
All right, I'll try and I might take a little longer than we wanted, but I'll try and pare it down. If both of you guys are going to answer this, if you were to go into a lab and try to build a franchise quarterback, right? You just like basically, so to speak, Madden it if you want, and you had the ability to select from like a genie 4 particular traits or qualities that this quarterback has, what would they be? All right, let me ask more specifically.
Is it a multiple choice question?
You just fill in the blank.
Can I put together like a few different like great quarterbacks and say, look, imagine this guy was there for all the best things they had. Bang, that's my guy.
Right. So you're like, okay, if you want to use a player comp for a specific trait, sure. But I just mean like, you know, like describe the perfect New York quarterback. What are his traits?
The first one for me, like, I mean, it would be like a characteristic trait would be like their mental. Like I was talking about old BJ before, especially in New York, because a lot of people can't handle it. Once they have like a little bit of success, like Odell Beckham did with the catch, then everything just spirals if you don't, take control of it. You want to have
And the opposite.
I mean, yeah, like the opposite.
If they don't get success immediately, then the walls close in like that.
Bang. I mean, you want to have a level-headed quarterback running your franchise. And, besides that, like number two would be likability. You want your teammates to fucking like him and go to war with him every day. You want him to have
leadership, right? Yeah.
Leadership. And that's what I think Daniel Jones has. Obviously, you see the coaches, staff, the players coming out supporting this fucking guy. And then if you want to get to like player attributes, I would say
like physical.
Arm strength for sure, and accuracy. Like because like deep ball, you kind of tie that in with accuracy with the deep ball shots, and you want to have that as your quarterback. You wanted him fucking throwing like, fucking and out routes where he's fucking 5 yards over his head or whatever. You know what I mean? I want an accurate quarterback, and I think we have it in Daniel Jones. He has all the traits, I believe.
Well, it's funny, right? So like literally I was joking, but I wasn't, and I kind of brought it down. John, I want to answer your question here. So like what I did initially was, right, and it's going to kind of like sort of feed into exactly what Mike was just saying too, where I was like, all right, if I could build this quarterback, because we're making Frankenstein over here, right? Dr. fucking Frankenstein's on the cutting board, right?
Yeah.
And I'm cutting it up the way I fucking need this shit to be cut up. So I'm going to cut up Peyton Manning's playmaking calling on the line of scrimmage, because I didn't see anybody that I've ever seen play do it better than that, right? So I'm taking Peyton Manning, that's what I'm putting in. I'm taking Michael Vick's athleticism and the way he can scramble and run and do shit and like throw on a dime and all that crazy shit, and I'm throwing that fucking in there. Then I'm getting a little old school here, so we might have to really dig this one up. But I'm taking Dan Marino's arm. I'm taking Dan Marino's arm. That's all I want from Dan Marino is his arm, okay?
They only make one of him.
Last but not least, and God almost died saying it. Brady's leadership. Oh, God, I can't believe I said that. Oh, my God.
You're going to be hearing about that tomorrow.
Break it down. And joking around with it a little bit as well. But, like, what did I say, right? Obviously, I just said with the last one with the leadership quality, you need that leadership. You need that presence on and off the field, in the huddle, of course, right? You need that quarterback that can go up to the line of scrimmage, read the blocks, read the blitzes, maybe call an audible, right? See the different plays and see the play happen at the line of scrimmage before it does, right? And look, at the end of the day, they got to have some athleticism in them. They got to be able to throw the ball, right? We were just talking about it now with that accuracy and arm strength and Marino. And that, I mean, look, now we were going super quarterback, right? So now you would have put like the athleticism of a Michael Vick in this guy. Forget it. They would never like, it would be like Madden with the best rating is like 99.
Yeah.
That should be like 999. Like I would not rated the fucking roof. Like you wouldn't be able to tackle this guy. Like he'll throw the ball from the fucking end zone to end zone type shit.
The title of the show, Jules created a monster.
Yeah.
But that's the reality, right? So there's got to be some talent there, but talent with hard work and dedication and leadership and the right mental fit can overcome certain talents, right? And if a guy is already leading as far as being able to have the best deep throw in football currently, right? And a guy is out there training his ass off every day. He's obviously a smart dude, graduated from Duke, passed all those intelligence tests. So that portion of it's there. And the leadership thing, look, we don't know enough, but if I see guys hanging out with him all the time and guys that don't need to be, guys that are linemen, guys that are running backs, guys that are wide receivers, and sometimes even some defensive players, there's something there. They like the guy. So that's leadership qualities that are being displayed there. So there's a lot of it there. It's just really now like, okay, look, you have the talent in front of you. You've been training your ass off. Now go out on the field and perform.
If he's Eli Manning 2.0, all three of us will be happy.
Anybody listening would be happy, except if you're a fan of a different team.
Right.
But that's the point I was trying to make, and you guys, exactly what I was hoping. So you've said things. I mean, listen, Daniel Jones, does he have Dan Marino's arm? No. But how many quarterbacks in the history of the NFL can you say has Dan Marino's arm?
Nobody.
Would you get past your one hand? I don't think so. So, but the league's gone on. Other quarterbacks that went to the Hall of Fame without Dan Marino's arm, right? Peyton Manning was never known for having a howitzer. You know what I mean? He was a field general, but he didn't step into the league as Peyton Manning. He was not good the first like few years of his, what you call it, statistically speaking, at least. Turnovers wise, it was atrocious and all this stuff. So not to say that Daniel Jones is Peyton Manning. I just mean, kid came into the league. He has all the traits that you could possibly ask for in a quarterback. He wasn't Dwayne Haskins. He wasn't worried about creating a brand, a production company, whatever he did the first night. He's not worried about this and making statements on on ESPN with like Baker Mayfield. Like that's everything you could possibly want. This kid is. Why wouldn't you be rooting for him? I just don't understand that. Like Santa brought you what you wanted. Why are you throwing it away?
Yeah, it's crazy. And you left out one thing too, because I don't know if anyone had the athleticism that Vic brought to the quarterback position. I know they try to say that Lamar Jackson is that, but he's not. Michael Vick, if you go back, you watch that shit, bro, it's not even fucking close. Vic was way better than Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry. I know Lamar, who, by the way, is still developing, but, he could develop. But Vic was just another athlete altogether. Like, it was just insane, the shit he did. But, yeah, you're right, man. Like, that's literally what the qualities are in a nutshell. We had a little fun with it. And you see these qualities in Jones. Now, can he produce with be a little more accurate, taking care of the football and now having an actual team around him? To be determined. Let's see what 2021 brings, and that's when we're going to really fucking see this.
It's all about the team, man.
Bro, every time he's had the opportunity, he's produced. He's given us every reason in the world to think that that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't know. You guys start talking about Daniel Jones and fucking the hate the kid gets, it just bothers me. Same shit with Eli. That's why I was such like a big defender of Eli for 17 years, 18 years since he got drafted. I spent a lot of time fucking arguing with Giants fans on Twitter. The last couple of weeks has been a lot more with other fans of other teams. And honestly, like, it doesn't bother me. Like, when I argue with Giants fans, like, it actually like bothers me that people are so disloyal and actually hate on the Giants when they try to claim the own. There's something inside of me that's just like that disloyalty, like that, like not supportive. It doesn't sit with me. Like but for coming from like an Eagles fan or a Cowboys fan or whatever, like literally zero effect. Like I could just go back and forth. It's just funny. But something about like actual Giants fans like having like poisonous words against its own team. It's just like, bro, you're not a Giants fan. Like stop trying to act smart. Like you're not.
The disrespect that Daniel Jones gets is like kind of like stupid. Like if I fucking seen him, I'd probably be like, yo, man, you need a hug, man? Like, I feel bad for you. You okay? Like these fucking fans are fucking dumb, man. Why are you always fucking going down this fucking guy's fucking, leave the fucking guy alone. Let him fucking develop, man. He only played like fucking 20 games in the NFL. Jesus Christ. Relax.
I would say 2 words to him. Embarrass them. That's it.
Step up.
Step up, be a man, and end that shit. But listen, let's take a quick, another quick break. We'll be right back with some like rumors going around. Julio Jones coming to the Giants? Could that be? Oh man, we'll be right back to talk about this. We'll be back in a minute. All right, guys, we are back with the Giants BBO NYG podcast. We're talking about rumors, man. Another rumor going around. This by some guy named Lombardo. He's a beat writer or whatever for the Giants, man. He's clueless, man. He's talking about Dave Gettleman has to do everything it takes to get Julio Jones to come here and play football in the Giants uniform. Guys, let me start by just saying, like, that's just fucking ridiculous. Like, unless we trade Sterling Shepard for him, like, maybe I would like think about doing that because I don't want to have 2 wide receivers that miss multiple games every year. It doesn't make any sense. Julio hasn't played a full season in I don't know how long. It's always his hamstring. His fucking hamstring is fucking like, because I draft him every year in fucking fantasy football and he's always fucking out and he ruins everything for me. He's always at pick number 11 or 12 where I'm at in every fucking goddamn draft. And I fucking take his ass after taking like a fucking a running back. I draft Julio because he's right there with him and Tyreek Hill. I never take Tyreek Hill. I don't know why, but yeah, Julio coming to the fucking Giants. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. We don't need him here.
Well, not in every league, Mike, because in our home league, you know, I'm always taking Julio, right?
Yeah, I know. That's the
Like,
only
it's
one
like,
league.
wait, why is he going so cheap, bro? No, I gotta take him. I'll bid again on him.
$40.
Oh, are you crazy? This is a steal. And then I'm like, but he has had some really good years. And the whole, it's very weird that this whole thing is coming around in Atlanta that he like, apparently he's been like almost asking for this trade and demanding this trade. So like, you have to ask yourself, is it, is it the hamstring? Was he kind of like, fuck it, I'm not going out there. My hamstring's a little like tweaked, and there's no reason for me to push extra hard on it today. Fuck that. I'm not ruining the rest of my career because he's now come out and say he wants to play for a contending team, and it has to be one of those kind of teams. And look, does he fit with the Giants? He could. It's a possibility. I mean, look, he is a tremendous talent. He is getting a little up there in age. He's 32, and had we not gone out and spent the money we did on Kenny Galladay, a first round pick on Tony, bought in Ross, bought in these other guys to play the field. You have Rudolph. Like, we set up our weapons, right? Bringing in Julio Jones is like, where's he going to play? You're going to trade Shepard. You're going to have to trade a first round pick or a second round pick and Shepard, then take on this enormous contract of his, and now have to worry about fitting that in when we have enough contracts that we got to try to fit in coming into 2022. For what? For a guy that's aging and is still a very great talent, but may not be at the top of his game anymore. It doesn't make any sense. And any Giants fans that were trying to think that would fit on this team, you just need to go back and like work on being a Giants fan.
I get the appeal of the flashy things, like, that's how they train monkeys, with like flashy objects. Like, that's what they do. So like, I get it for certain humans and stuff, but the reality of it is why pay him all that money? Like, the next 4 years we have all of these young players. Like, why are we talking about trying to get rid of a first round fucking pick for a redundancy? That's 32 years old now. What about 2 years from now? He's 34 and he's going to play 6 games maybe. You know what I mean? I don't wish injury on the guy. I hope that he's he's healthy or whatever, but it just doesn't make any sense. And the clear-cut reason why we're even discussing this situation is because there's some people that they're slipping in their ranking as far as being a beat reporter, and going from a newspaper down to a blog, and then they just don't get talked about whatsoever at all. And then the only time their name is ever mentioned is when they say outlandish stuff like this. So it's like that, like when you look at the EKG and then like you get those little like spikes like that. Like that's what that's what Matt Lombardo is basically the last couple of years. Couple hot takes a year, people talk about him, feels relevant for a day, and then he goes back into his little hole like a troll. So
he is a troll. Fucking, these people need to go see a therapist, man. Jules, you're right. They need to go work on themselves. See a therapist, man. Talk to the therapist about it instead of going on fucking Twitter. Talk about your Giants hate with your therapist.
Were there a lot of Giants fans saying that we should do it?
No.
There was a few. Yeah,
I wouldn't say a lot.
I mean, no, there's people that are like, oh, why wouldn't you fucking look at him, take a chance? I'm like, because we signed Kenny Galladay already. Like, what's the matter with you? Like, I mean,
why would first round pick on a wide receiver? Like,
why would Julio Jones even want to come here? Like, there's so many mouths to feed as it is.
Right.
Not like, that's not a good team to come to, but you're going to be competing for balls with Galladay, with Tony, because their first round pick. They're obviously going to want to get on the ball. Saquon Barkley, Evan Ingham, and Rudolph. Like, there's a lot of ways that this is going to go, and you're going to demand a lot of attention. So you're going to not put up stats like you would if you were a true number one and the focal point somewhere else. So I don't even know why Julio would want to come here, but he's if he wants to send him to fucking wherever, I don't give a shit. Our team is set, bro. I'm worried about us.
Yeah,
he should go to the Raiders, and so should Rodgers. With John Gruden, now that would be fucking scary. All right, that would be fun. You literally ultimately give Rodgers back another number one. You have all this young team around him. He's got a crazy running game in his back, and you got John Gruden. They would fucking come up with some crazy shit. They might not play every game together, but you know what? They would still have some fucking crazy ass games.
That'd be a show to watch.
With Darren Waller
going
on in the Raiders.
No. We did play the Raiders this year, right?
Yeah. We played them at home though, unfortunately, or else we'd all be chilling in that fucking crazy ass suite that they got set up in Vegas for that.
That would be the trip.
Right?
That would definitely be the trip, man.
So 4 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Unless they have it a Super Bowl.
A couple Super Bowls.
Yeah, maybe they have a Super Bowl there, like a couple years.
But I did want to bring up something about the guests, and I'm hoping that everyone that's been listening, you're enjoying some of the guests that we had here. We did have a really good one last week where we had Cole who came on. My man came on from Ireland, talked us a little further, and actually kind of like brought some attention to the fact that like we're like the Giants are a big thing to do in the UK, guys. And after I went on and posted some of our, you know, not only the podcast, but a few other things, comments and everything else, I literally had some guys reach out to me personally, directly from the UK. And they're like, oh, it's not only a big thing in Ireland, it's the entire UK. So started talking to these guys. They seem like great fans. I'm like super pumped to have them on. They're going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. But man, I still, you know, I've been tweeting about it, talking about it, reaching out to these guys. I still can't get over the fact of how big it is and some of the things that these guys go through to stay and listen to these games, man. Those are some fucking real fans. All right.
Yeah.
And guys, I mean, I don't know. I just had to talk about that a little more, man, because it was crazy to me.
Dude, sometimes they're getting up like 1 o'clock in the morning to like watch a game, you know, because the hours are fucking crazy, like, you know, up there. But man, like that's dedication. If you're a real fan, and you know, to grow up, like you have to buy like the DirecTV package sometimes up there to watch the games. It's something like we were talking to Calm, and he was like, they don't even get like college games up there. So how do you even know about like football, you know? So yeah, I mean, hey,
YouTube highlights.
Yeah, you know, they have to watch like streams or you know whatever to watch these games. But like, man, God bless them, man. But yeah, that's what we call real fans, not these FGFs, right? Right, fucking Jules?
FGF, man. FGF.
Is that fake Giants fans?
Fake Giant fans, yep.
They ain't like that.
We gotta start hashtagging these fucking creeps.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And we brought it up to the point soon now where like, you know, like especially Colm, like he's got family here. If you guys listened to the podcast last week, go check it out. If you haven't yet, listen to it, right? But like he brought up a lot of great points, so we got to hang out with him. These guys from the UK that we're gonna have on the show in June, yeah, they seem to be a bunch of fun guys and everything else. So we made a deal with them. They come over to see us here in the States, and they come to the games. We all hang out. When that London game happens, well, guess what? Big Blue Offensive Podcast is headed out to fucking London, and we're gonna go watch the goddamn Giants out in London, right? And we're gonna see what the real fucking deal is with these UK fans.
Oh, no doubt.
That would be sick, bro.
I mean, look, that's what I was hoping to do. You know, it was a lot of fun talking with these guys, and I'm really looking forward when they do come on the show. And we're gonna have, you know, a couple on, you know, we're gonna have them on, a couple of them, and we're gonna probably do a crossover show too where we go on theirs. So we'll let you guys know when all that takes place. But that will be happening in the next few weeks, starting in June. We're gonna do stuff like that in July. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And look, man, I've heard stories. I don't know about you guys, but I've heard stories about how insane soccer really is, or football, and we discussed the differences down that last week's podcast as well. But they're incredibly dedicated and insane maniac fans out there in the UK. All right, gotta give them a shout out when it comes to soccer games. So if we could ever get it to a point where you got that kind of fan base out there for the Giants, and let's just say, I don't know, we're playing like fucking Dallas or somebody out there, I feel bad for the fucking Cowboy fans, man, because they're gonna get it out there.
Up close in person, they're gonna get it.
Yeah, seriously. Like, yo, you're gonna be in another country and wish you fucking were back home in the States. But yeah, we definitely got some really cool guests lining up in the next few weeks. We might even bring on some that aren't Giants fans, and we'll get into that when that show is getting closer. We have some YouTube guys coming in again, so definitely lining up some really, really cool guests that are very dedicated to the craft, to sports, their podcasts, and everything else. So we think that would be a really good thing to have them come on for some of these shows and like hear things from people out of country, and you know, get a couple of real opinions from fans that may not be actual Giants fans, right? So that you can literally sit there and hear the difference of what this episode was themed on. All right, the fake fans versus this, where you'll actually hear other people that might be an Eagle fan or a Cowboy fan come on and actually see and hear what they say about our team. And half the time, it ain't even as bad as some of our fan base.
That'd be fucking sick, man. Let's go.
Right. All right. I'm glad you guys are pumped for this story. But
we'll get them on. We'll have a lot to say. in that
Definitely.
regard, going against these guys.
Definitely.
Fuck Dallas,
definitely.
fuck Philly, fuck Washington. But come
Oh,
on,
yeah.
talk to
I
us
can't
about it.
wait.
Yeah, fuck every other team says Giants.
So that's what's on the menu for the next few weeks coming on. But I think that pretty much wraps us up for this week. All right, guys, keep in touch. Keep listening to the podcast. Follow us on Twitter. You can follow Mike at Mike Trainer MFT. You can follow John at John Depot NYG Slap Parade. You can follow myself, Jules, at Jules NYC1. What's the podcast? Where we following the podcast on Twitter? Come on, man, shout it out.
At BBO NYG podcast, you can go like anywhere you listen to podcasts, like iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube. Find us anywhere. Write a nice review about us. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen,
Like,
if you got
give us
something to
5
say,
stars.
come at us on Twitter, man. Come at us on
No.
Facebook, all right? And if you really got something good to say, drop a little review in an Apple iPad, or Apple Podcast, or Spotify. Drop a like, subscribe, right? We like that kind of stuff. That's fun, right? But we are open to debate. So if you got something to say, come at us too. You know where to find us, all right? But until next week, we're out of here, guys. All right, and listen real quick too. Go Knicks tomorrow night, all right? Hopefully we fucking win game 2. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Right. Gardens rocking. Peace.
Do it.